Brad, it's great talking to you, man. But more importantly, congratulations, 5440. What are we talking about? Over 40 years, 4 decades. So many bands from the Great White North have come through, but somehow, man, you guys have kept the staying power with great music and representing the Canadian music, man. How does it feel being considered really an institution and legends in the music business?
Rudy, I don't think about it that much.
Well, you should. I mean, and especially because as we speak, man, you guys are going to be performing what? 3 shows at the legendary Horseshoe Tavern, who's also going to be celebrating an anniversary too.
Yes. Yeah. Was it 75? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. I think they started in 47. Yeah. Yeah. So, it'll be about 42 years for us. So we've been around more than half of the Horseshoe.
It's
It's almost like a residency. I mean, before COVID, we were doing 3 or 4 nights there, and it's a fantastic time. And I think all nights are sold out. There might be some tickets available for the Thursday show, but it's just something that we love, and the people who come and see us love, and it's just a great kind of communal experience.
Yeah, I took a peek. Yeah, Thursday's got a couple of tickets, but sold out, sold out.
Yeah.
What do you expect, man? What do you think it is that with 5440, what has always been the connection with the band members, the music with Canadian audiences?
The songs are good.
That helps.
Yeah, I think I think it's a kind of it's a mutual respect and love. It's like Neil and I, when we started this band years and years ago as 20-year-olds, we came to it as fans. We were huge music fans. We would stand right in the middle of the floor and jump up and down, and so we still kind of carry that attitude with us. And I think that kind of rubs off, and people see it for what it is, and it really works. It works for us, and it works for the people who come to see us play.
But what was it like also? Because your band has seen the transition of music. You guys got to see much music, the music videos, the changing into grunge music from the 80s and 90s sound, like all of these things going on. Music being on digital, Spotify being, the big thing. Just watching all of these transitions happening throughout music, what was it like for you guys to travel through seeing all that to the point where today, 40 years ago, you and I would not be doing this? I would have a tape recorder in my hand with a little microphone talking to you at your hotel room.
Yeah, no, you're right. So that's kind of a function of having been around a long time and being old. Yeah, you're right. When we started, our ambition was to make a record, and that was it was a physical piece of vinyl, and we were an independent band, and we worked with this little cooperative in Vancouver called Modamu, and we did a compilation record, and then we did our own sort of 12-inch 45. And then we eventually did our own independent record called Set the Fire. And we were touring up and down the west coast of the United States mostly, and playing Vancouver, Victoria, that kind of thing. And then in 1986, Warner Brothers liked what we were doing. We did 3 records with them in the United States, toured all over the place, all over North America, played everywhere. And then signed with Sony Music Canada in the early 90s, did 6 or 7 or 8 records with them, and now we're back to where we started. We're essentially an independent record. We've done records with True North, on our own. So it's we've kind of come full circle. We've seen it all, and I tell you, it's a lot of it is just about learning to adapt, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of bands, a lot of artists that have trouble with that, and it is difficult. But we always thought that we were in a good place to get to this kind of digital age. We get reports from Spotify and Apple Music every month our plays go up, our listens go up, our Shazams go up. There's a whole other generation that's come up behind our generation that's coming to see us. There's literally people who have now grown up with our music, where parents played the music in the house and the kids grew up with this, and now we're seeing 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kids at our show and loving it. So we're very grateful for that, and we still enjoy it. I mean, we love it, and so we think we're going to do this for a little longer.
I'm just curious, when we were talking about the transitions, how did you guys not get caught up when the big companies started buying out other companies? You used to have BMG, but that was bought out, and other companies. And I know a lot of artists during that period where they made some albums that are still shelved.
Oh, yeah. No. So everywhere we went, we always had a good relationship, and we actually made friends with the people we worked with at record companies. And so we always left on good terms from both sides. It was really difficult for us, when the digital age started with Napster, and kind of around 2000, 1999, where the writing was on the wall that record companies as they existed and what they were selling was going to change, and a lot of our friends lost their jobs, and aren't in music. Thankfully, we were able to survive that. But yeah, it's we were able to leave with our masters if we had something, or they released what we did. We actually did with majors after we left, where they made compilations or greatest hits, those kinds of things, and we got paid for those. So thankfully, we haven't had too many problems.
That's amazing, man. You're the first person I've heard actually say those words, left with our masters. Yeah. You don't hear that at all these days, man.
Well, they have the masters that are theirs, but the stuff that we did that doesn't get released, we have.
That's great, man. Oh, I love that. What do you think it is about the stories that you like to tell, or you guys like to tell over the years through your music? What was the real message behind it?
Oh, well, Rudy, that's a big question. Mm-hmm. And not being the lyricist, I would be kind of telling tales or speaking out of school, or however that expression works. But I think it's one of unity and love, kind of the human experiences that we all share, and trying to move forward, trying to get through this life of ours, separately, together.
Definitely. If there was maybe one or two shows that really stood out for you over the years, what shows would it be? I mean, you guys have played in so many iconic venues. Is there any one in particular that you guys were always like, man, this is it. We made it. This is the stage.
Oh, well, I'll give you several. So in the late 80s, early 90s, we'd come to Toronto around Canada Day, and we played at the Edge Fest in Barrie on Olsen Park. We started off as being fourth on the bill or third on the bill. Eventually, we headlined the thing to about 45,000 people. So we felt like we accomplished a lot there. In 1993, we did a whole tour of Europe in support of Midnight Oil. 28 or 29 shows with them. I mean, that was just an incredible experience, and they're great guys, and it's a great way to see the world. In 2000, we did a video for Sony Music for the Casual Viewing record, for the song Casual Viewing, where we went around the world. We did it in Hong Kong and Thailand and Kenya and Morocco. And then in 2005, we opened for the Rolling Stones in Calgary at the Saddle Dome. Met them, hung out a little bit, got our photo taken with them. which was an incredible highlight. I mean, that was the last gig that we did where I was really nervous. And there's been others too. I mean, we have every year we play the Commodore Ballroom, or try to, around the Thanksgiving weekend, and we've played the Commodore now, I don't know, close to 70 times, I guess, and that is an annual highlight for us. So it's too many to list, but there's some highlights.
It's definitely some special ones, man. Oh, wow. Definitely some great ones. The music's not done yet, man. You guys are still recording, right?
Yeah. So, and we've got a couple things in the can, to use that expression. So we've got a live record we did at the El Macambo, which we hope to have out, probably sometime in the first half of next year. And then we did a record over the pandemic. It was kind of written online, where we shared files and we'd all put our parts down, and that should come out either late next year or early 2024.
Looking forward to it, man. What's the show going to be like?
So yeah, so it's a real mix. There's a couple, one brand new song, a couple from our latest record, and then we just play all the usual hits that people come to expect, and then a few kind of favorite album tracks that we haven't played for a while. So it's a real mixed bag.
Man, just love it. It's funny because I was just doing Canada's Walk of Fame, and of course, Tragically Hip being inducted on that. And, it just makes me think about when I used to come out and seeing bands like yourselves and the Hip, and, a $5 ticket kind of thing or whatever, and you're up close and you're feeling the sweat and everything else. And to see bands like yourselves now being honored, and so many of these younger groups, like say the Arkells, coming out and going, I learned my music listening to, 5440 and things like that. That's got to be an honor for you guys to know that you have not just established, but influenced so many of today's great rock Canadian artists.
Yeah, well, yeah. Once again, I only think about this when you bring it up.
I got to keep bringing it up on that, man.
But I'll tell you that now that you have, I mean, it's incredibly gratifying, and just to be around, and like I say, I think there definitely we have had an influence, and I think it's something that we are definitely proud of.
The thing I love about you guys and Hip and the rest of them is you guys basically said it's okay to be Canadian and it's okay to play Canadian rock and roll. And that's what I love.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, we're true to ourselves. And, when we started out, the bands that we liked were never, number one. They were always about number 25 or 30. And it's just the way it is. It's we've tried to like I say, to be authentic, to create something which is true to ourselves, and to live with whatever those consequences might be. And we've done that, and we're still around, and that is a great thing.
Any advice you want to give to the next generation of Canadian rockers?
Yeah. So it sounds kind of trite, but my advice is don't do it. Do something else. And then I usually just wait a little bit for them to look at me, and then they say, well, I'm going to do it anyway. And I go, well, good for you. Then you're doing it for the right reasons. If someone took it seriously, that I would say, when I say don't, then they're not meant to do it anyway. The commitment that it takes, Rudy, is incredible. It really takes a lot to get out there. And it's right now, there's just so much noise and so much out there that for a young rocker, as you put it, to be able to develop, come into their own, and eventually make a living at it and have some degree of notoriety would take an incredible amount of energy and commitment. So unless you start with that, I would look for something else to do.
Well, thank God they're not going to listen to us and they're going to keep doing what they're doing. So, because if that was the case, I'd be out of a job. So,
Yeah. You know what? I tell you, rock and roll for the last several years has been a subculture. You know, it's been, and it's coming back because it's, as Sean and says, rock and roll will never die.
speaks the truth. My friend, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. Just a quick note, I'm going to be hosting at the Rivoli next door to you guys when this is happening. So if you guys get a chance, you should come on over because there's going to be some great young acts performing there on Thursday night.
Okay. I think we can do that.
Cross fingers you guys can make it over. Hey, thanks again for the interview. Congratulations on 4 decades and looking forward to another 4 decades.
I appreciate it. Well, I don't know about that, but thanks, Rudy. I appreciate it.
Hey, if the Stones can do it, you guys can do it.
You know what I always say? I say, when do you think people say, when are you going to quit? I say, well, when the Rolling Stones quit, that's our 20-year warning.
There you go. Exactly. Thanks a lot, my brother.
Okay.